When it comes to just those really hard things that we go through in marriage, anytime when we could just, that would be my advice for all couples, is a weekly check-in. It's because you really could, when you pray, that's like one of the most intimacy things that you could do, and you can't be fake in prayer. You know what I mean? When you're praying for each other and stuff like that, you really just kind of have to be open, authentic, and I think that has really helped us through just the different challenges, and then also just staying aware where you're keeping God first.
Welcome to Couples Unfiltered, the podcast where we explore love, loss, relationships, and the journey to find true connection. I'm Lionel Salisbury.
And I'm Natalie Galley Salisbury. Between us, we've lived a lot of life. After 20 years of marriage and careers dedicated to service, we both found ourselves widowed, navigating a new chapter in life, and our paths eventually crossed at a moment when we were not expecting it.
Through our journey together, we've learned what we do and don't want to carry into a new relationship. We discovered a lot about ourselves and what it takes to be the best partner for each other. Now we're here to share those insights, or as we like to call it, cheat codes for you. Our goal is to help you avoid repeating the same mistakes and reaching the next level in your relationship.
To assist us in this endeavor, we invite our guests to share their stories in the hope that they will inspire you. Please keep in mind that we are not licensed therapists, and any conversations we have here are solely based on our own experiences and opinions.
So, from San Diego to Maryland to Colorado to San Diego, this trailblazing couple has been uplifting the Black community in everywhere that they go. With their project and their business of My Black City in Colorado to new ventures which they started here in San Diego. This couple has been supporting each other as a couple, but also with the help of God. And they have a really interesting name. I am a nerd, so I love watching espionage movies, so I love their last name as well. Please help us welcome Jini and Brandon Bornes. Welcome. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Sorry about the nerd.
He's not accusing you of any
espionage. So let's dive in. So we'll start with you, Jini. Tell us about your life. Where were you born? And give us some synopsis of how you grew up.
Sure. Well, okay, so I was born in San Francisco, California. Two-parent household, just really loving parents, and I had an older brother, a couple years older than me. So, yeah, I just really had a really good childhood, and just, San Francisco is a very diverse city and stuff, so I really just got to connect with a lot of different people growing up, and so it was really good. And then when I went to, I was an athlete, so I ran track and was able to get a full ride to San Diego State on a track scholarship, and so that's what brought me to San Diego. Nice. And that was a journey, because I kind of was, when I was growing up, a little bit overprotective. So when I came to San Diego, I was just like ready to spread my wings and fly.
Oh, wow.
I had an older brother. So I would say, yeah, my freshman year was definitely a learning and growing year for me. But over the years, I really realized that I grew up in a Christian home as well. I just forgot to say that. Mm-hmm. And so, but when you go to college and you're on your own, you're figuring it out life yourself. Yeah. And it's like, what does God mean to me? And at my freshman year, it wasn't a value of mine. I just really wanted to see what was out there. Mm. And when I did, it hurt. It didn't go so well my freshman year, and so about my junior year is really, it was a church on campus, and it was really defining moment in my life, because I really realized that how I grew up, and the foundation of knowing God was really important, and what really kept me like purpose driven. And so I rededicated my life to Christ around junior year of college, and still kind of bumpy, but was really just grew my relationship.
Did you grow up going to church?
Yeah,
Like
so
every Sunday, or was it?
I grew up in a First AME Zion, Episcopal Zion Church.
Okay, all right.
Parents still go to it to this day.
Nice.
You know?
So going to college, though, was that the first time you had never really gone to church on a regular basis?
Right,
Oh,
because
okay.
you know, it wasn't something that I was like really seeking out. You know, I was really just I was on a track scholarship, and so that was my focus.
Right.
And so I really just like dived into that, and we would travel on the weekends and things like that. So you know, it just there wasn't that community that I really dived into, but I did later realize that there is a community there. I just wasn't really looking that hard.
Right, you're focused on the
Yeah.
changes. Well, because you're expecting change and going to college, you think, oh, my life's gonna be so different. So it's not shocking that
Right.
church isn't part of that. But then when you start to realize you're missing it,
Right.
it's like, what's missing, right?
Oh,
Yeah, just like my focus, I just started to not make good decisions for myself, and so that's when I realized that okay, this is something wrong here,
Yeah.
and I need to get back to my roots. So, so yeah, that's a little bit about me as far as in college, and then I was able to really get myself together a little bit more. I joined the Rock Church that is in San Diego with Miles McPherson, and joined a small group and had a really community there, and that really helped me grow. And so then I really got involved with like Athletes in Action and just things that were more in alignment of how I wanted to live. And then let's see, I was able to go to grad school and received a counseling degree for graduation, and so I started working in athletics as a athletic mentor, just getting experience and things like that. And that's when I was connecting with Brandon and kind of saw that he was leader of Athletes in Action. I was like, I should have gotten that his freshman year too. So I was really kind of like full circle moment. Like I really want to help these freshmen just be focused in having that balance of going to school and still maintaining a strong Christian community.
Yeah,
And so I
starting
really-
out that way.
Right,
Yeah.
starting out that way. So I, you know, was really supportive of what he was doing, but mainly the girls. I wasn't really talking to him and connected with him, but I saw him from afar that he really led the guys really well. So
Well, let me backtrack to get him back to get him to this point. Brandon, tell us about your past. Where'd you grow up, and what brought you here today?
Well, I grew up right here in Vista, California. So I'm a local. Growing up, my dad was in and out of jail. My mom was working a lot, and I had a lot of time just to myself. But I was very creative. I had a huge imagination. I could sit there in a room and draw, write music, do poetry, do arts and crafts. Just like it just excited me to just create with my hands, create with my mind. So I think my family might have been like, how can you sit there for that long
Yeah.
and just be creative? But it was something like I always tried to push it. It's something that I got excited about.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like I was ever that bored, even though it was like the creative energy was there. And then when I would be outside, hanging out with my friends, engaging with the community, I was like super competitive. Like I always wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to race. I wanted to see how high I could jump. I want to see how far I could swim at the beach. I want to see how long I could hold my breath. It was always like a challenge to me to kind of like push myself, and it was exciting for me. So like there was this like internal creativity and this external like challenging myself. And then like in fourth grade, I remember when I met Jesus. I made a decision to like walk with God and in this Christian community and learning the Bible and all this like creative energy, all this like competitiveness, kind of like this focus like on more of like me becoming who God created me to be. Like me learning that like no matter what people think about me in the community or how I feel like if I'm loved or not. I knew that like God loved me. God was there for me. God, you know, he created me as unique. He created me with a purpose. He created me with a plan. And so all the energy just like was starting to become focused to like honoring God and learning how to walk that out and learning how to be, you know, walk out my faith from an early young age. And like there's a Bible verse that says like we're beautifully and wonderfully made. And so just learning, I think from an early and a young age, just like learning what that means, that like God loves me for me, like in a world that's always changing, like God loves me just the way I am. And so like even as an early age, working through this tension that we all have, like how do I be me when I feel like everything's always changing? How do I be comfortable being who God created me to be? So that was like starting to make deep roots when I was really young, and even today, like impacts all this. I feel like it impacts all the decisions that I make. Like, am I like when I think about a decision, I'm like, well, this is how God created me. So let me just be comfortable with how God created me and make a decision thinking about that.
Right,
So
right.
it just makes me more. I think that really prepared me for life and just kind of, you know, decisions that I have to make. So
It's your motivation.
yeah, my
Absolutely.
motivation.
I like that. And I know your wife already started. So
Yeah.
she told me the verse. She started telling us the version of how you guys first met. So tell us your account.
Yeah. Well, I was in college and, you know, learning it like everybody else. Out of the parents' house, trying to figure out my way. But from the very beginning, I knew I wanted to still continue my walk with God.
Yeah.
So I got plugged into Athletes in Action, which is like a Christian athletic Bible study. And I think after the first year I was in it, the missionary that was leading it, he was like, "Brandon, I really think you should lead this section." I was like,
Now, is that something that when you got to college, it was already in place, or is that something that you helped get started? How did?
there was already a Bible study happening, where a space where the athletes can get together because all their schedules were crazy. So just having a space in the athletic center for believers to be able to grow together. Their space was there, but I was asked to lead it my sophomore year, and I just said yes because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I know that I feel like it's just being obedient, just saying yes to the things that God has. And
The space was there, but it's not always active.
Okay.
Right.
Well, you said you were in the athletic portion of it. But did you play a sport in college?
yeah, I played sports. I was a full scholarship athlete. Played football there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I was
Wow.
in there.
All
I was in
right.
there. I was a California state champion in the hurdles. So I was #1 in California.
Now hold on. 110 meter high hurdles or
300 hurdles.
Okay. Now we'll say we have to race. And we
Oh, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm retired nurse. I'm not trying to be there in that capacity.
Yeah. So like I said, I was just
I've
super
been nervous
competitive.
to race him in the 300 hurdles, not this guy.
Yeah. So I was
Like a football player.
Yeah, I was kind of big, but I was always competitive. like I said, so always challenging myself, and that went over to when I started playing track. So just every race, I was trying to just get better, just challenge. Even when I was winning every race, I was like, how can I get better?
Yeah. Wow.
And so that rolled over into like I said, every part of my life. Just so when I was leading the Bible study, even though I didn't know what I was doing, I was like, well, we're just gonna start. I've seen a little bit, but I'm just gonna start figuring out how to grow with God with people, and just growing that. And so that's where I met Jini, where she I think she was just stopped by the Bible study to check in what was going on, checking with her girls in the Bible study.
I have this picture in my mind of her peeking in. And
I know.
What's going on in there?
What's going on over there?
What's going on in there?
Because I was
Getting a little
mentoring
rowdy
some
in
of the
there.
girls and like doing academic mentoring, and then also it was both. We do a little bit of Bible study at my home. I had like a small group of Bible study or something. So I was like, oh, you're going to teach an action too. So what's going on in here? Yeah.
So that's kind of how we first met when it comes to like just knowing we were both Christian, knowing we were both on that same page. But that's where it started, but that's not where it ended.
So what was that first moment? Like you peek in and he's leading things and What's
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Well, you're older than him.
Right. So I was a mentor in athletics, and so I just thought I was just really impressed of just his consistency and his loyalty to athletes in action. Because when I was going to college, it was not really active. Like it was there, the space was there, but it was not something that it was like, oh, we're all going athletes in action, like and
Right.
so I was just like really impressed by that, and so I think that's what made me just admire what he was doing. And I had said to myself, he's going to make a good husband to somebody. Yeah, because I was like 4 years older, and at that time I was like not looking to like be in no type of relationship with the younger people I was mentoring, like his people that was his age, as far as like the
gotta
girls.
catch up.
Right. So yeah, I didn't really think of him as maturity in that way. It was just more like he's doing the right thing, to get these guys in the right direction and stuff. So I did admire that. And then when he left to go to missions work, where he'll talk more about, I got my first career job as an EOP counselor at San Diego State. And so it was like good timing where God, when he was raising support, I was like, you got me at hello. Like, I'm going to like support you, because this is like, he's just been so consistent the years that I saw him, so that's kind of how we had stayed connected in a way where he would send like reports on how he was doing in his work.
Now, where was mission at?
Where was mission at?
Well, so after I graduated college, I jumped right into so people had really mentored and helped me get to where I was at, and I wanted to invest my time and effort into helping other young men on a college campus just do that transition. And so I moved to Maryland, to Bowie State University, which is a historically black college, and helped launch a campus ministry there. So we like literally showed up from nothing, nothing. First day, just showing up, meeting and greeting, and just like, but I had like a conviction, like it helped me to have people help me through college and help me walk in my Christian walk, help me grow. Because in college, you have so much. It's the first time, and people get to go to college. It's the first time like you're away from family, your ideas are being challenged. People are telling you things you don't know what's true, what's not true, and a lot of times throughout the questioning, people like just step away from whatever. And so just being like, it's okay to question. Let's just talk about it.
Right.
I buy, and at the same time, I can help you with some schoolwork. Help you stay on track. So it was like a lot of you could pray. So it was more like it was helping them just get with God, spend some time with God, help create space where you can ask questions and you just read the Bible. Create space for like, hey man, you should turn that assignment in. You should, you got this test coming up. So it's like a little bit of mentoring.
Holding people accountable.
Yeah, and just helping them get through that phase.
It was really relational, really relational.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, you'd think that colleges would provide that, like pay someone to do that.
So the crazy thing about Bowie State University, like years later, it was like 10 years, whatever years later, the Navigators, the ministry I was with that we launched is still happening on campus. And now they named a mentoring organization on campus that they pay staff for the same name as the organization.
Nice.
They're called Navigators. And I was like, and so now they pay other students to help mentor and help other students navigate through college. So the organization I worked with was called the Navigators.
So no kickbacks to you.
No kickbacks for me, but it's cool to know that like it wasn't wasted. Like they're still continuing. Like some of the same people I was there with, like some of the teachers like are still there. Some of the strong Christian believers and
they could at least give you a little plaque or something.
If we could do a petition, the Brandon Bourne project,
the hallway,
that
like
could be good.
10 feet or something.
I
planted that seed there, definitely.
Let's just encourage you to know, like you put the effort into something, you're there for a few years, and years later, like, oh, God is still making a difference.
Right,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
So you're working in Maryland. You're still in San Diego. You're working. You're EOP, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's handling business. When do you guys come back together?
Well, like I said, he had he was sending. He had a prayer card where I could pray for him and stuff on my refrigerator. He's really good at like.
Wait, hold on. He's sending you prayer love notes?
No. All this is people who
Strictly platonic.
Right.
Right.
What do you do, honey?
Yeah, so I would like, it's part of the raising money. You got to keep people, you got to be on top of people's minds.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm gonna make postcards for everybody.
Reminders,
Everybody
yeah.
that's donated. I'm making postcards with a magnet on it,
Yeah.
so they can put it on the refrigerator. And pray
Okay.
on it.
Because I was gonna say, if you're sending prayers to a woman, that's
And
marriage
you said you
material
were
right
creative,
there.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
would you say you were writing poetry when you were
I
young?
was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He
So
was good at helping us continue to, send money to him because we always would know what's going on and we would want to be a
He was
part.
campaigning.
Right,
What?
right. I mean, the amazing thing is like I couldn't physically, help out, but like through your donation, you're making a difference. 'Cause
Right.
he's able to help out. I mean, that's the
Right.
whole purpose of like the missionaries. You can't do it, but you're able to send money for them to do it. And so
Yeah.
I really thought that was really cool. And so sometimes I would look at the postcard and just be praying for him, but so it kind of kept him on my mind a little bit, but it wasn't no real attraction.
No
it was just more
romantic attraction.
I believe in what you're doing and I want to support it and stuff. And so we reconnected. It was about 3 years later. Yeah, so it was about 3 years later. So I had, I was working at EOP for 3 years. I had dated. I was living my life and growing in San Diego. But when he came back, he asked for a fundraising meeting. And so he came to my job, San Diego State, so it's convenient. Yeah, and so we were at the library and just reconnected and he got to share. And yeah, I was like, oh, he's all grown up now.
That 4 years got a little smaller, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, this guy is,
But how about you? Were you feeling a little romantic connection when you saw her again?
So
he was one line.
the context is, I was doing like in the summertime. I was like, that's when I do my 90% of the fundraising. Like I'm just booking appointments, like all over the place. Like I'm back in San Diego, I'm booking multiple appointments a day, just meeting up. So I was just going into the meeting like, all right, it's another fundraising appointment. Like,
Okay.
like I'm gonna share about updates, ask for money, and ask them to, and see what happens. So that's what I was going into the meeting. But like as we were but usually in the meeting, I would say like 70% of the time, I'm just asking questions, getting to know them. So like I'm not really talking that much about what I'm doing. So I was just asking her questions, like catching up, and I'm like, I was like,
You're like asking extra questions.
yeah. So then it was like, I felt like, okay, let me ask you a few more questions.
Yeah.
It was like a good meeting, and so and then. So it felt like it was more than a fundraising meeting.
Okay, so you felt something.
I felt something.
Something was different.
Kept coming back to my office. Can we have another time?
Cute.
Come back just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we moved pretty fast with just like really wanting to like connect. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So then the rest is history. We were dating for like a year, and then engaged for a year, and then married for 10-something years.
Yeah. Some around there.
Right.
This plus the
We're
anniversary.
2004, 2024. So yeah, we were married 2011. So yeah, we're more than 10 years.
Yeah, we're going up.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the month?
December.
Okay.
Yeah.
December 10th. Early December? Okay.
December 10th, 2011.
I was going to say, you guys are bold if you're doing a Christmas time
Yeah.
wedding.
And I'm sure you got married here in San Diego.
Yes.
There's
yes.
no other place that you can get married
Right.
during Christmas time and have the weather that we have.
Oh,
know.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it was beautiful. We had the best, and then he, it's so funny because, he did all of the graphic and the design and, postcards. Like, we did all of
Invitations,
all the stuff, like, on our own and stuff. And
Oh, that's
we
nice.
used our address list to start raising support.
Yeah.
So I really, was engaged for a year and really just had to allow God to really speak to my heart as far as my transition, because it was going to be a big transition for me with moving to Colorado, Maryland, and joining him. It wasn't begging me to join him, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do because I always supported him.
Right.
And I was working inside of the college, so I had really a heart for college students. And he was just kind of working on the external. I was more internal, like, getting paid by the college.
Right.
So when I got married with him, I just felt like it was still aligned of kind of what my heart and what I like to do is like working with college students and helping them, be the best that they could be. It was like on a different, it looked different. So
you guys moved to Maryland. How was that first year? I assume your family is here. All of your family's
his
here.
family's here, and my family's in San Francisco. So it was good. It was good because we were able to get housing, and we went right into like a church ministry where they really like embraced us and embraced him, and so that was really just like a big thing. For starting marriage, is like, okay.
Right. So you had a little bit of time together, but did you have children right away?
We didn't have children right away. I was like 4 months pregnant into our first year of marriage. But I was like, in my 30s. I was 30. So I was just like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know how women, we only got so much time.
Yes.
So,
we only have so many eggs.
And the nice thing I like about getting married later is that I really got a chance to just, travel and live life and, have the career and everything. So when I got married, I was like, this is my next step.
Right. What's next?
I'm not feeling like I need to like do all these different things. Like I really just embraced what God had me in as far as getting married and wanting to have kids. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That is a really good point. And I don't think, I got married young. Natalie got married young. And that's something that, we don't really think about it until way later. But that is a really good point of having lived and understood who you are as an individual before you connect with another individual in holy matrimony. That's a good point, and people need to really take that into consideration.
No, I think that really has helped us in marriage is that because he's so talented in what he does and I'm very talented in what I do and we're different. He's more of an introvert, I'm more of an extrovert. And so we really have to be okay in our skin to really work together and know kind of where my place and my lane is and where his place and his lane is and then how to like connect. And that's something that we are still growing in, but it's something that I think as being older and being married, I was very comfortable in my skin and really read the book, The Purpose-Driven Life with Rick Warren when that was popular. And it just was really just like a confident in who I was as in Christ and confident in just where I'm at in my life.
Yeah, as a female too.
Yeah.
It can be a challenge to go through the whole college experience, and that's where you make a lot of mistakes, and you're also figuring out who you are, or it's confirming who you are. You have to kind of get a little wild, and then you get back to where you're supposed to be, and then figure out how that kind of fits into your life. But I think that's amazing that you guys, there's a lot of people that are in their early 20s, mid-20s, and they feel anxious that they haven't started their lives yet in a couple way or being married or starting a family. And that pressure is really there for a lot of people. And the fact that you went into it super gracefully without the panicky feeling of, when am I going to be able to do this? I'm too late. That's, that's God.
Yeah.
Well, let me, if I may, with this piece of the discussion, let's take a quick pause to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp.
Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in a world who's going through a hard time, therapy can give you tools to approach your life in a very different way. And this is why we're excited to tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding therapy easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in the description. It's betterhelp.com/couples unfiltered. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. When I lost my first wife to a terminal illness, therapy helped me navigate my feelings, as well as help me communicate with my children about losing their mother. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/couples unfiltered. That's betterhelp.com/couples unfiltered. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel.
So you mentioned that you're intro, she's extrovert. So
Which is shocking.
In this relationship.
yeah, in a relationship. I mean, I can
consider-
understand within what you do, you shine. And
But
you
that's
step out.
introverts, right? It's so
Yeah.
weird. We know so many introverts that are like so comfortable on stage. But in life, they're very quiet and they watch and they sit back. And then they get on stage and it's like nobody's watching. And I'm just like, how do I get there?
Well, I'll tell you, I would more prefer being behind the scenes. When I was growing up, I know you look at me like that. When I was growing up, I was the kid with the hoodie on, the backpack on. I enjoy making music. I love rapping. I love being on stage, but I didn't want to be around anybody. And that was a thing for me. I really had to come out of my shell. And I think the Marine Corps really helped me out with that. And within your relationship.
Somebody threw a grenade on your shell. Because it just scattered all over the place. It was like, I'm never going back. Just kidding.
I had a lot of life. I'm old now, so it's like
Older.
I think it also just is about your relationship too, and just you feel comfortable in your skin a little bit more.
Yeah, the
Well,
person confirms that, well, not confirms, but like they put a mirror in front of you to show you the things that you don't see.
Right.
it's a push. It's a push. I think in our relationship, my wife, my helpmate, she encourages me to be the very best version of myself. I see that every day. I recognize it. I tell her about it, and it's something that I feel.
I'm not doing it on purpose. I mean, I am not unknowingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
it's
like,
just-
what can I do to make him feel like the best version of himself today? It just happens because that's how we see each other.
Yeah.
I see you in a light you don't see yourself.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And with that, she pushes me, I push her, and we get it. It's always getting to this higher level.
Yeah.
How do you feel that you do that for each other? Like, how do you push Brandon to be the best version of himself, or to say, okay, no, I see that in front of you, hurdles. I'm gonna refer to hurdles. You got a hurdle in front of you. I'm gonna help lift you up over that hurdle. How do you see yourself doing that with him?
Well, I feel like the most successful time that we have is when we do our, when we really encourage each other, is doing our devos. So we do we do a check-in, and every week, and we have these different questions that we ask each other, and then we also have prayer requests where we pray for each other, and then we also read like a proverb. And through that time, it has really been an uplifting time where I feel like we both really could just have that intimacy and hear each other's hearts. I think this has really encouraged me, hopefully encourage him, to just like be the best that we can for each other,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And so I think that is our best times is when we really just kind of put God in front versus what my opinion is or what his opinion is. because we've done that too.
Yeah.
And that, that doesn't always work because we are very different. We have different life experiences and see things different. So we always have to be careful about, what I think should be happening or what he should be happening. I always am a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. Like, and so I always try to do stuff. So sometimes he has to bring me back down, like, okay, but at least I'm gonna tell you, or closed mouth don't get fed. Like I'm gonna say,
Just ask. They might say yes.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was a good way to say it. I just think that I have these like big dreams that I want to do, and I like to, go out and things like that. And so I think I bring the fun where it kind of encourages or motivates him to be like, okay, yeah, let's do this, or okay, do this. And he ends up having fun,
Right.
So I think I kind of push that, and I think hopefully he sees like, okay, yeah, we do need that.
That's the introvert in him saying, is there going to be a lot of people there? If I don't have a task.
If I'm trying to relax,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a whole bunch of people to relax. I'm
Right.
trying to be in a quiet, have some fun together. Whereas like, Jini might want to be around a little bit more people than me.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is not relaxing to me.
Right. Well, people equals energy. So
Yeah.
if there's people, you got to give energy. So that's not relaxing. I got you. Yeah. I'm actually an introvert. I believe I'm more of an introvert than I realize. I can be I can be in a social situation, but afterwards I am drained. Like the energy is sucked out of me.
Yeah.
Well, I just think, with him, when it comes to just those really hard things that we go through in marriage, anytime when we could just, that would be my advice for all couples is a weekly check-in. It's because you really could, when you pray, that's like one of the most intimacy things that you could do, and you can't be fake in prayer. You know what I mean? When you're praying for each other and stuff like that, you really just kind of have to be open, authentic, and I think that has really helped us through just the different challenges, and then also just staying aware where you're keeping God first, and so that just motivates us to be like, okay, yeah, that's so.
Now you mentioned, you mentioned Devo.
Devotional.
What- that-
Devotional.
Devotional. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you, for those that may not know, can you explain that a little bit more? What devotional is?
Okay, well, we try to keep it real simple.
Yeah.
We usually do a proverb, which is a book in the Bible. There's, I think, 31 proverbs, so it's like one book per day. I'm like, it's Tuesday the 7th. Let's read Proverbs 7. That's about it. That's about it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's not literally like I think sometimes, so it's just like, I think that makes it less defensive, because it's not like, well, I'm talking about this topic because I didn't talk to you about this today in the Bible. It's more like, it's the day of the week. We're just going to read it and see if anything applies to us.
Okay.
So it makes it, the guard is down, and it makes us be more open to just finding what sticks out to us. So we read the proverb, and I might say, like, what sticks out to you, Jini? And she tells me why it stuck out to her. Then I say, what stuck out to me and why? And that's about it.
And the Proverbs is the book of wisdom. So it really shares a lot of wisdom on how to live life.
Oh, nice.
So.
Really practical.
So what are some things that you guys have done together, like that you're proud of as in a like accomplished, or that you're proud of in your marriage together?
Okay, I know some things I'm proud of. So one thing I'm proud of is that we've been married for 10 plus years. I feel like that's an accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Being able to work it out,
Congratulations.
being able to just grow together. I think another accomplishment that we have 4 wonderful kids, 4 boys.
4 boys.
And so they have a lot of fun. I don't know where they're at.
Were their ages?
Sorry, Mom. You got a house full of boys.
I know. I said I'm the queen. People who ask me, well, how do you do it? I'm like, this is all I know. But yeah.
How were their ages?
So 11, and then 9, and then 7 and 3.
So odd number, separate.
Yeah. So yeah.
Very quick. Boom, boom, boom,
every
boom.
couple of years,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we're so grateful that we are able to, raise four boys, and we really just, a lot of things that we do is to have them involved, and I think that's something that we're proud of, is that we really want to impact our family and have our family be a part of us impacting the community.
Yeah.
So when we were doing My Black City or any of these different events that we have, we really, and Brennan, keeps them in mind and have them maybe be a part of what we're doing. And so they
it's
can,
very important.
I eventually want them to, I hope to have them, grow in their own business and work together. And I just feel like family is important when it comes to just building.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, tell us about that business.
okay, well, go ahead, Brennan.
So the business, well, I don't really call it a business. I feel like it's like a social impact. Like it's something that we want to provide to the community and also provides benefit to us as a family. And so in Colorado about 7 years ago, we wanted to just help bring the Black community together, help network, help provide a space for our family to our kids to see people that look like us, that were being positive, that were doing family-friendly things, sharpening each other, being encouraged by each other. And so we just started this thing called My Black Colorado. And so it really started as a publication, just interviewing people, highlighting stories, celebrating stories from people in the community. And then it turned into like doing events, bringing those people together, celebrating each other, networking, doing business networking events. And then, but all the events were family friendly. All was about shining bright together. And so our kids, I think, were probably at most of the events, being a part of it, seeing people, seeing the connection, seeing the love. And so that just grew and grew. And the publication we had like about 1,000 distribution when it comes to print publications around Colorado. We had like a lot of libraries that were subscribers, a lot of schools. So a lot of people who subscribed to the publication. And then, so we're just making, not just like it was on people's tables, like people were like, My Black City, like a lot of people knew about it just from like it spreading through word of mouth and people just wanting to be celebrated, people wanting to be recognized. And it inspired people just like to take that next step in their journey when it comes to like, there's people like us doing this, people like us doing business, people like us. And I think the most valuable was like people sharing stories of what they learned in life, what they learned in business, what they learned in family, and just sharing that with others. So we just provide like a way to do that, like on a just in the start. It was like a grassroots kind of start.
Well, and I think one of the big impacts is that when you usually come into a city, especially if it's not really that diverse, you're just like, we came into it like, where are the Black people at? What's going on? Even in San Diego, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
in
a
the
very
Black
small
community?
percentage of Black people in San Diego.
Yeah,
And I'm
so-
sure Colorado's
Yeah, in
neck and
Colorado,
neck.
But then there's actually a lot of good things going on. And so I think the really unique thing that stands out about Brandon is he's really good at multimedia. So he really just was able to bring a voice to a lot of different entrepreneurs and had on social media or just multimedia, on them, whereas promotional videos or advertisements. And so people were able to get a visual of so many different Black organizations and entrepreneurs, and even entrepreneurs were starting to come together and connect, like, oh, you do this, I'll do this, oh, let's work together, so we saw a lot of that going on. So there's just a lot of like community building, and that's what made such a big impact, really, is just the voice that we gave the community, with the multimedia. That was huge.
And now here in San Diego,
We moved to San Diego a few years ago, and pretty much like a restart.
Right.
Jini really wanted to come back here, and my family's out here, and so
more snow.
This is my
and so
second home here.
it was kind of like all right, well, if we gonna start over, like it's a new start, So we pretty much just came out here, started working, pretty much trying to figure it out. And then there was opportunity for, I had seen what had worked in Colorado, seen what had worked when it comes to like connecting with people and finding out who's interested. So then I did a first like interest meeting, and it was in Vista at a local church. And I just sent like invites, or I just like sent promotions out. And I think maybe like 40 people showed up from all around San Diego County. But it was like the right people were there. And they were like excited about like, we need something like this. And then so after that meeting, they wanted to do another meeting. They wanted to do something, but I knew that like I needed to make it a little bigger, like a little nicer than the first one. So then I had a friend who was like, use the film hub. And so we did a second event. It was a art and networking. So we had like a black art gallery in one room, and then we had like a networking event. And we had like probably like 80, 90 people show up. But we had like
Food trucks.
we had like food truck. We had probably 15 different artists, black artists from around San Diego featured like artwork. We had like some people
Couple of vendors,
performed vendors. We had like a little vendor thing, and it was just like really empowering. People were encouraged. We did like a little intentional networking. So when people came, they got like a networking card where they had to ask someone actually questions to network.
I like that.
They had to get phone numbers. So it was like, you're not just showing up and sitting back. Like this is a challenge for you when you show up.
Right.
Get these people's phone numbers and write them down
Okay.
on paper.
Nice.
So we had like an intentional networking and just like vision casting and just having fun. We had like in the main area, there was like a big spread of like desserts that one of the vendors just had all desserts, like ice cream, cookies, and just like made it really nice. And
these are all black business owners.
all black business
Yeah,
owners.
yeah.
And so it was just like a really powerful time. People had a great time. It was sponsored by Genentech and Dr. Bornes and Belief in Fatherhood. So they sponsored the event, paid for things, and so it was just a great event.
Yeah.
And so that's where it was like, okay, there's interest here, there's momentum, people are enjoying that vibe, and so we just did a few more events after that, and it's got bigger and bigger, and just trying to just bring the community together.
Now, was that under My Black City, or what would you categorize that being under?
It was under a lot of different things. So,
Okay.
so to be honest, in Vista, if I try to do a big event under the name My Black City, it's more tension, like because black's in the name, and I'm asking to get this bigger venue that's not owned by black people, and so it was like some tension. So it was kind of like, okay, I need help. I need help. And so it was a huge blessing to like, I was working for Belief in Fatherhood at the time. So I was like, let's collaborate. Let's do this. I'm not going to necessarily use My Black City as the name on the front. So we could do collaborative events.
Oh, okay.
So it was more like, I was doing a lot of the work, but it was like I had partners who would help get into places, or like, just because for name recognition.
Of course. Yeah.
So
No,
it was very helpful. Like we did a collaboration with the Botanical Gardens at Bringo Terrace. I think it's Bringo Terrace Park. It's this huge botanical garden at the top of the hill, and so that was like a collaboration through belief in fatherhood. Like they opened the door up, and then we had like just people come out that day and connect, walk through the garden. It was on Earth Day, and it was like a community event, and it was just, I think, yeah. So it was huge. Like Target donated some stuff to Belief in Fatherhood for people, and so it was a good partnership. It was a good collaboration. Like to get into doors I couldn't just get into with the name My Black.
This is a journey that I really hope that Brandon could. That we can continue to do something like this. We don't know exactly what it looks like,
Right.
But it's just such a valuable, important thing, and he has so much experience at it already. Where it's not like we're starting over. Like we're starting over. I mean, a new place, but we've already did some good networking. But yeah, so it's. San Diego's a little bit more expensive to live,
Yeah.
Really we're still just grassroots was just making sure that we're able to do the things that we need to do.
Well, we chatted with you guys about a little thing we want to try to get together with you to try to bring a Juneteenth to the city where we live. And hopefully we can collaborate enough to get that going and make it a little, a first time celebration that's a little bit different than what people are expecting every time they go to a Juneteenth celebration.
Collaboration, living in California is necessary because we can't just do it on our own. And so that's the hard part. But I mean, there's people like you that are just doing a lot of great things too. So we're just here wanting to meet the right people.
Yeah,
No,
we're trying.
We could see the vision and work together well to partner to make impact, because we're all about like just community building.
Well, you guys, you step out and you see a need and you fill that gap. That's what makes it so great. And you're doing it together. You're doing it as a couple and collaborating with each other first. Creating conversations in the home, which helps build a great foundation. You're teaching your children how to carry on in your footsteps. That's great.
And you're showing them the example
Exactly.
of what you're supposed to do. People are supposed to, you're in a community. You're supposed to be part of that community. You're supposed to cultivate it and encourage others to do the same. Because, it seems like the world is just getting bigger, more people, but yet it's such a small world, you know.
And there's a thing. I know a lot of times we talk about generational wealth, but it's not always
Monetary.
It's the intellectual property that you're passing on and the connections that you're making that makes a world of a difference.
Yeah,
Huge.
legacy.
Yeah.
Huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just growing entrepreneur. He's a great entrepreneur, and because he also has a business. That's how it started. Was Borns Pro Media, multimedia business, and then from there, that's how we were able to fund initially social impact business, which was My Black Colorado. So, he still does multimedia and has the Borns Pro Media business.
So take this moment. Plug what you do. Right? And I know she jokes and says I have 11 jobs. tell us all the things that you're doing.
So the bornspro.com.
Bornspro.com, you'll see. So the main thing is I love to capture stories. I love to celebrate stories. Everyone has a story, but sometimes we have to learn how to tell that story in an amazing way that captures the audience. So just for me interviewing 400 plus people over the last decade or so, I think I've learned how to find out what that piece of the story that really stands out, that really connects with people's hearts, and be able to share that and celebrate that. So that's kind of where I found my lane, and the clients that I've worked with, even the clients I have now, I have some clients in the community that I work with doing mostly weekly projects for. And so it's just helping them tell their story better, helping them capture stories better. So I love doing it. People pay me to do it.
And then your nonprofit is wegodo.org.
We go do. So that was I would say the end result of the launch and the collaboration with Belief in Fatherhood and My Black City. And I'm no longer working with Belief Fatherhood, but I still have the nonprofit.
Gotcha.
And so it's okay, I want to continue the work here, and I want to be able to inspire people and offer I've had 15 years of fundraising, nonprofit kind of experience, and be able to this will help if you're trying to share your story, trying to get connected, trying to ask for people to collaborate, just being able to help inspire and equip people in that who social impact businesses.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's
So hopefully you can help us go do a Juneteenth
And if you got any publications of My Black City, I would love to get my hands on one.
Oh man, kind of rusty. So I did one out here. When I first got out here, I collaborated with Maricosta College, and we did a Black Nerds publication.
Oh,
Okay.
So that was a fun publication.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we highlighted a bunch of Black nerds who do comic books and all this stuff. We made a publication and printed it and celebrated the community.
you missed that one.
Let's talk about that, because that is where I first understood who you were, because you were hosting a Black Arts Festival in San Marcos. I don't know how I got the email, I got the text message or something, and I was like, yes, I'm all in, until it was her 50th. So I was like, no, I'm out. But you've done that. You've done that I'm aware of. You've done STEAM.
Yep.
What was that?
So STEAM, it was a Black Arts Festival but for kids. And with the educational theme, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So kids led it with the presentations, the performances. Most of the vendors there were kids with their parents vending, learning how to do that part of the business. Then we had an art section and creative art, and we had also vendors there who were doing STEAM activities for kids from the community. And we had jump houses outside. We had food trucks.
And we also partnered with 2 schools out here to share Black history biographies.
Yeah.
And so they would do, he would connect, and they did audio. He would go, he went to this school. Once you share it, you better
Okay.
say it.
So there's 2 schools. It was VAPA and
Casita.
Casita. And so we went to those schools, and the students like learned about Black history by being able to read about somebody in Black history. And then we turned the audio into like an animated thing that we showed at the event.
Yeah.
So they all had like got to they not only got to learn about some of Black history, but they got to share about them, and we got to present it at the festival.
Oh, no.
And
love
some
it.
of the
So-
kids from the schools, they came to see their audio. And this is a diverse population. It wasn't just, African American kids. So
Yeah.
that's what made it really cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wow. Well, listen, before we end this episode, I always ask this of our couples. First off, when you got married, did you use traditional vows or did you write your own vows? And if you did either or, would you change anything today after being married for 10 plus?
Well, yeah, we used our own vows. And I would not change. We usually read our vows every anniversary.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Said that we actually
been listening to our
challenge
podcast.
people. We actually challenge people every year. You should do that, and let's talk about where we're not doing what we said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. Like, oh, okay, let me work on that, or So, I think I wouldn't change anything about my vows. I would just add that I need to make sure I check my pride before I talk to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Tell that
Like,
little
just-
ego to just, can you just sit over here for a second? Or
Right,
keep your
right.
mouth shut?
Because that is where conflict happens when you don't check your pride. So I think that's important for couples to know who want to last and to grow with your partner is like, check the ego before you have these conversations, these hard conversations.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's that human part of us that is just, that's the challenge, that human part.
Yeah, definitely.
Brandon, how about you?
Oh, I mean, like I said, Jini, like she said, I read my vows every year. It's a great reminder of what I committed to Jini to do and how to love her. And it's always like, okay, yeah, let me work on that. Let me work on it again this year. Let me focus on that again this
Yeah,
year. So
that's
it's a good
great.
reminder.
Well, we're very proud of you guys for doing that. We're older than you, so I could say that. But it's great. I think that's something that, you get married and there's nobody to really say, hey, this is what you need to do from here. I mean, you could go to mentoring and, marriage counseling and all of those things. But I feel like that check-in has to be on your own. You have to want to do that check-in. And it has to be to the point where somebody has to be knocking on the door, calling you up and saying, hey, it's time for you to do that check-in.
Yeah.
Like you should actually make that commitment to do the check-in. And I think an anniversary is perfect. Everyone should be reading over those vows again. Even if they were the, standard vows, add something to it. Let's talk about, we need to communicate better. Maybe we need to add communication or, add whatever. So that's great. Happy that you guys are our first couple to say that.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
we have been challenging people to do that.
Well, I guess we'll give ourselves a pat on the back.
You
then.
should.
Yes, that's
You
right.
absolutely should.
That's right.
And give yourself a pat on the back for being here and just coming to sit down and have this conversation
Yeah.
and share some of the cheat codes that we can give to our audience. So we greatly
definitely.
appreciate the conversation.
No, thank you for reaching out to us. We're newbies. Well, we're kind of Obies newbies.
Yeah, but you have a lot to offer.
But,
You have a lot to offer, though.
We're
You
still
will do.
learning and growing. Knowing that we're not marriage is hard and we're not perfect, but we definitely strive to have a purposeful, honoring marriage. So
Well, you have an awesome motivator.
Like, you really do. And you have more people to add to your community.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate
thank
that.
you for that. And all those folks that are out there. So
We need some more child care now.
Have you,
we've raised 6 already.
yeah, we have all the breakable things in our house now.
No, their kids are wonderful.
Yeah, your kids are
Kids
great.
are absolutely
Just
wonderful.
need to keep the blankets out because my AC is real low.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, for all of you out there, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Couples Unfiltered. As always, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, you can reach out to us on couplesunfiltered.com or our email, couplesunfiltered333@gmail.com, or on Instagram, couples_unfiltered. And yeah, we're kind of everywhere. So
Yeah.
don't look at the TikTok though.
Yeah,
I'm too old to be doing TikTok. It ain't coming out right.
Oh my God.
TikTok is evil.
That's a clip right there.
Please don't subscribe to YouTube. Please don't do that. No, please subscribe to YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to keep bringing this content, so we need you to subscribe so we can keep bringing this content to you.
Yeah. And catch our coffee conversations.
Only on YouTube.
Only on YouTube.
Yeah.
Bye, yeah.